Bitcoin is about to explode. With volatility at historic lows, the next move by Bitcoin will decide the fate of Bitcoin's price action for the rest of the year. With Bitcoin teetering on crucial pivot points, it is uncertain what direction it will head. What's going on, Satoshi Warriors, and welcome back to Seamus's Crypto Lounge. Bitcoin has had a boring couple of weeks, but that means it's gearing up for a massive move. I'm going to be using indicators and price statistics to elucidate Bitcoin's trajectory and how big this move could be. At the end of the video, I'm going to be choosing my favorite comment from the last video, so stick around for that. And don't forget to comment on this video for a chance to get featured at the end of my next video. With that being said, let's jump into the content. So jumping back into the 2-day chart, this is the same setup that I was talking about in my last video, but the move didn't quite play out as I expected. For those of you that don't know, I made a video about these two indicators, the BBWP volatility indicator and the reverse stochastic momentum oscillator indicator. So go check out that video in the eye in the sky if you haven't seen it already. But briefly, I'll explain what these two indicators are. The BBWP indicator is a volatility indicator, so it basically shows when Bitcoin has had low volatility and when it's getting ready to go on a big move. When Bitcoin is below this 10 percentile region, that's when it gears up to go on a big move. And as you can see right now, the volatility indicator is very low and it is angled upward. Before I do confirm this move as starting to mature, I want to see this white moving average to also have an upward slope. The BBWP indicator is direction neutral, and that's where the reverse stochastic momentum indicator comes in. This indicator shows the general direction and momentum for the Bitcoin price. And it also gives nice pivot points to show where Bitcoin could pivot in its direction. So coupling the volatility and momentum indicators together, you can have insights on the direction and size of move that the asset will have. In my last video, I also talked about the setup for this 2-day volatility versus momentum move, and I thought it was going to start to play out because both the volatility indicator and the moving average of that indicator were both facing upwards. But as you can see, the volatility came back down and based even lower than the initial read. This is actually a great thing for the Bitcoin bulls because it gave the momentum oscillator a chance to flip bullish, but Bitcoin is teetering right on that pivot point for the direction of this move. Now let's look at some price statistics for moves that have happened when volatility has gotten this low. Right here are statistics of every single time the BBWP indicator got below 10 percentile and had an expansive move up in Bitcoin's history. Right here is the size of the percentage move, the amount of days taken, and the congruence with the RSMI indicator. And by that, I mean whether or not the expansive move coincided with the same direction that the reverse stochastic momentum indicator did indicate. On average, when the BBWP indicator did expand, the percent move was 28% with a standard deviation of 9%, and the average amount of time was 18 days with a standard deviation of 6 days. Just playing around with numbers on the Bitcoin chart, if this move were to play out to the first standard deviation of the average, that would bring Bitcoin to about 21,500. And if it were to move to the downside to the average percentage move, that would bring Bitcoin to about 18,800. If this move were to play out to the upside to the first standard deviation, that would bring Bitcoin to about 31,100. And if it were to have that full average move, 28%, that would bring Bitcoin to about 34,000 bucks. The next closure for the 2-day time frame is in about 1 day and 20 hours. Bitcoin would have to close above 26,700 to flip the momentum back to the upside. I want to see 1 to 2 more closures with volatility expansion along with the moving average expanding to confirm this move as starting to play out. That's one mistake I made in my last video. I called this move as maturing before it really did start to mature. So this video is just showing the setups for this move, and I'm going to make a follow-up video when I do think this move is confirmed, and I'll give the direction of this move in that next video. This volatility versus stochastic momentum setup is not only occurring on the 2-day time frame, but it's also occurring on the 5-day and the weekly time frame. So let's jump in and take a look at those setups next. Before we get into that, if you guys are liking the content, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps out the channel so much, and it's a free way that you guys can help support this channel. Also, hit the subscribe button to join the Satoshi Army. Let's get back to the video. So jumping into the 5-day chart, as you can see, the BBWP volatility indicator is also on extreme lows, which means this 2-day time frame move could also lead into the 5-day time frame move, which would compound on the size of the move, meaning this next move could be huge by Bitcoin. Although the RSMI indicator is angled to the downside and we would need to close above 29,100 to change the momentum back to the upside, if the 2-day time frame move does work out to the upside, then that means the 5-day time frame could easily pivot its momentum back to the upside. If you remember from earlier, even if Bitcoin were to only play out that 18% move to the upside from that 2-day time frame, it would still close above 29,100, meaning that the momentum of this 5-day move could also play out to the upside. I do have some statistics on the previous 5-day BBWP versus RSMI setups, but I'm gonna save those for the next video. Finally, taking a look at the weekly chart, you can see that the BBWP indicator is also on extreme lows and has given this blue bar print. That means that when the 5-day and the weekly are both expanding, this could be a huge move by Bitcoin. In summary, I'm not calling for the direction of these moves, but I'm just showing you guys that they're setting up and they're going to be expanding very soon. I'm sorry I haven't made a video in a while, but I'm gonna be making a follow-up video calling the direction for these 3 setups of these moves. Also, since these moves are on the 2-day, 5-day, and weekly timeframes, that means that they will take a while to play out and they're gonna have big impacts on the direction of the Bitcoin price for the next few months. Even if the Bitcoin price does go down, that's gonna be a great opportunity to average your price down for the coming bull run. With that being said, let's jump into my favorite comment from the last video. My favorite comment from the last video was from Kevin Kilgo. He said, "Great video. I agree a big move is coming soon. Keep stacking sats." You too, Kevin. Keep stacking those sats. With that being said, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to join the Satoshi Army. I'll see you guys in the next one. See you later, Satoshi Warriors.